Hey guys, we just want to go through and look at some fascial mobilization that we can do for the ankles. We saw Roddy this morning looking at some sort of osteofascial technique, and he really addressed the anterior aspect of the ankle and got around the lateral and medial malleoli of the ankle. So what we want to do now is I'm going to use Simi to demonstrate how we can actually get into the front of the ankle. Now, I understand that some people won't be able to kneel. That's okay. We can vary the environment depending upon what you have in your environment to get people into maybe a standing position. I could use a bench where they haven't actually got to be on their knee, but in this case, I can use the floor. Simi's knees are really healthy. I've got a pad under the knee. And what I'm going to use here is a thoracic wedge. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to place that thoracic wedge under Simi's ankle. And I want to continue that vein of mobilization and getting the anterior aspect of the ankle complex and getting it to move through the retinaculum and through the top of the ankle complex. So all we're going to do is I'm going to place Simi's ankle in this position, and we're just going to gently now rock the ankle from side to side. And as you'll see now, what it's doing, she's getting this lovely rotation, and it hasn't got to be a big movement, it's only a small movement, but what it's now doing is it's creating a pressure and it's creating a pumping effect of the tissues, which now allows the tissues to get that hydration that they require to be able to communicate to the brain and give the brain what it needs to be able to decipher what pattern we really need. And it's interesting because if I wanted now to make this a little more specific, what I could do now is I might keep the ankle stationary, but I might just get Simi just to gently start taking the hips from side to side. So she might bring left hip, right hip. Perfect. And what that does now is the point of contact, which is the forefoot of the ankle now, starts to become more responsible from the movement, even though the hips are moving. And the great thing about that is that once again, it's giving the ankle the movement it needs to free up the anterior aspect, but it's also now starting to clean the inner hip, posterior hip capsule, which is a great combination for anyone who's going to move. Now, in that situation, we might say now, let's bring the wedge out. Let's tuck the toes under, because now I'm going to start to address the underside of the foot, or the sole of the foot. So once again, the same deal. I'm going to now let the toes tuck under the heel. I'm going to keep Simi stationary at the hips, and I'm going to let her foot now just rotate from side to side. So once again now, I'm putting more tension in the tissue in the sole of the foot, plantar fascia, around that whole posterior chain. I'm asking the forefoot now to take more responsibility to get the big toe, little toe combination, the timing of the foot, to now start to basically recalibrate by getting those bones, muscles, nerves, tissues now to start to become a symphony. And once again, I can leave that stationary, and now I can just gently start to get Simi to move through the hips, which is creating now, once again, a shearing motion in through the tissues of this posterior capsule, and of this posterior ankle, and also in through the hip capsule itself. So once again, guys, all I'm really looking for when I'm mobilizing is I want to breathe. I want to allow the tissue not to be forced or to be bullied. I just want to allow it to move within its threshold. So it's really important that I'm listening to the client, but I'm also listening to the tissue. I'm engaging the client, but I'm also engaging the tissue. Because at the end of the day, how this client's going to feel after they've done the mobilizer, when they've done a reappraisal by maybe doing a squatting pattern or a sit and reach pattern, will now build the relationship that we need to have to create success, not only in our businesses, but more importantly, success for the person so they can move better, be better, and live better.